Welcome to NFL Prop Picks powered by the Blitz. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty, the mind behind the numbers, and we're here every primetime game picking Derek's brain for his best plays and leans and his plays and leans. And that brain picking was great in week 2, plus 4.5 units so far through 2 weeks. Derek, as we look into this Thursday night matchup, how do you see things projection-wise over the 2 weeks open the season?
Been a great start to the year after a great start last year. I'm very happy to get off to a good start. I see a number of good values on the board for this Thursday game, so I'm excited for another winning week.
All right, Thursday night football. Pats head to the Meadowlands, 6-point dogs. Aaron Rodgers playing his third game since week 1 Monday night. Leans, plays. More confidence than the leans, and we start off with a play. Aaron Rodgers. You know it's not going to be anything wild, right? You know it's not going to be, Aaron Rodgers over passing yards. No, Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 rushing yards, minus 120, time of recording Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Bet365, BetMGM. 2-yard rush and a kneel down in week 2. Kneel down in the first half for minus 1 yards in week 1. As I mentioned, this will be his third game in like 11 or 12 days. Obviously fresh off the injury. Has never really shown a propensity to be a scrambler here. Even if he gets a couple yards, the kneel down equity in this as a favorite can bring it back. So there's a few routes here, Derek.
There are, yeah. And the kneel down equity is definitely part of this. It's something we talk about pretty frequently that books just aren't always really considering. Aaron Rodgers projects for the highest kneel down equity of anybody this week, almost a full kneel down. And obviously there's always the chance for 2 or 3 or even 4 if you're really lucky. But yeah, he could, they don't run any design runs for him. Maybe a quarterback sneak where he gets a yard. One of the lowest scramble rates of any quarterback in football. Obviously this number is very low. But really we're basically betting on Aaron Rodgers not to run or to get a couple of yards and then a kneel down. Like there's ways to get here. The Blitz projects us to win about 74% of the time. So I like this one.
I'm trying to fumble and look at the camera through the app because I think this would be a spot. Now tell me if I'm wrong, but where you could probably use some fantastic negative correlation and be like Aaron Rodgers over 2.5 carries, but under 2.5 yards.
If they want to give you some crazy odds for something like that, yeah, that might be fun.
Okay, I'll look into that while we go to the next one. I know this is borderline, but are you more play or are you more lean on this spot?
So this one's going to be a play. We've actually gained 9 points on it from the number that it was at earlier when we talked about it. So we're at plus 123 at Caesars now.
Okay. From lean to play. Well, from borderline to play. Alan Lazard under 2.5 receptions. What was the number? Plus
123 at Caesars is the best.
Plus 123 at Caesars. Interesting. Because people don't understand the context in which people sometimes get these yards. Alan Lazard, great week 1. People won a lot of money off him. Guess what Alan Lazard did? He finished with 2 touchdowns, 80-plus yards, 9 targets, 6 catches. Stuffed box score. Alan Lazard had 2 targets and no catches in the first half. Game got out of hand. He had a touchdown from Tyrod Taylor. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's unknown. When you talk about box score, learning, and stuff that sometimes isn't accounted for, this is kind of where we are. Pretty much a dud in week 2 as well. 2 catches for 11 yards on 4 targets. How well does this project, especially now that you're getting a better price than earlier?
Yeah, this projects pretty well. The Blitz is projecting 2.3, which is about a 60%, 60% to the under that we're getting at plus money, which is very nice. Like you said, some of his stats haven't really come in parts of the game that'll be representative of what we're going to see this week. This is a spot, again, where we expect the Jets to be playing from ahead, to be running down the clock late in the game, which I think is, obviously means just less play volume in general. And One thing that I think is maybe being missed a little bit if you're just looking at the season numbers, Mike Williams, we knew was going to be starting the year on a pitch count, was going to be kind of working up, wasn't going to be playing, a full set of snaps right away. Didn't play much the first week. Last week went up and ran a route on 73% of the dropbacks. That dropped Lazard from 100% of the dropbacks running a route down to 76% himself. Obviously, they kind of run different routes, different roles, but you can only have so many guys on the field at a time. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's going to command a bunch of the targets. Breece Hall is getting a ton of them. Mike Wilson now, as he gets healthier, is going to get more. Lazard, potentially going to be a guy left out a little bit. And again, this is definitely kind of a run heavy spot for the Jets.
Yeah, if you don't get, like, if Lazard doesn't have more than one catch in the first half, this is going to be really difficult to get two grabs with game script. I mean, there's a big difference between trailing San Francisco by multiple touchdowns versus going into the second half and what's a low total game to begin with as your 6-point favorite, running the ball with two running backs. So there just might not be a lot of volume. And I really think a lot of this is being priced on that garbage time filler box score from week 1. Should shorten up, a great price there. Now, live while we're recording this, you said you brought a third play to the plate. I didn't have it going in here because you just got it. And I want a straight reaction for myself. I have no idea what it is. Walk me through it. I'm always excited. And let me know if it's a play or a lean, please.
It's going to be a play. I think this market just opened up maybe a hour ago. I didn't notice it earlier today when I was looking, but it's showing good value right now. It's DeMario Douglas over 2.5 receptions, plus 130 at ESPN's the best line. There's some plus 120s, some plus 115s out there too that are good. Douglas is probably the best receiver on New England. He's been out there running a route on 3/4 of the dropbacks, has not gotten very many targets at all this year. I think a 4.5% target share. But they came out in the press conference after last week's game and they said they want to scheme some stuff up for DeMario Douglas. They want to get him going. They said he's one of their most explosive players. It's the coach's job to get him involved. This seems like a good sign for DeMario Douglas, who was already getting the on-field usage, and now they're saying they're going to try to scheme him getting the ball. So this looks really good to me. The Blitz is projecting 3.25 here. So we're getting 3/4 of a reception over the line, and it's at plus 130.
All right, good number there. I mean, what we've seen from New England through 2 weeks is not really a passing game script, obviously, right? Like how they've played. So we still aren't 100% sure on how the garbage time yards, if needed, are going to shape out. And so there could be, what we've seen is basically the floor of this passing offense is what I'm trying to say in terms of game script play. So love to hear us hitting markets, not named yards, right? Receptions, carries, obviously the yards with the rushing, but he doesn't have a rushing market. I tried to look for it. I wanted the 3.5 rushes and under 2.5 yards for Rodgers, and just see if my betting app would just kind of break and be like, this doesn't make any sense, but here's 100 to 1. And you're like, okay, thanks. I'll take it. But I'll wait to see that opens, but there's something there. Like Rodgers could certainly end up with more rushes than he has yards. No?
Yeah, that could easily happen.
All right. So let's, for you big bettors out there, keep an eye on that one. Books know how to steal holds from correlated SGPs. They do, right? Like you don't really know how to calculate, over 4.5 catches and 50 plus yards, right? They're not going to give you any breaks on those SGPs. Right. But in the same sense, I think it's just a multiplier in terms of how they get that value. So the multiplier on the other side, if they're stealing some on that side, then they should be giving you some on the other side. You know what I mean, Derek?
They should. They don't always do it, but it's definitely worth checking.
Yeah. All right. So keep an eye out on that. So we are going Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 rushing yards, which is a funny number because usually it's like 1 or up, right? Like 2 is a very interesting number, and it just sounds like you're just giving us an extra yard just to have it. Minus 120, that's a play. Allen Lazard under 2.5 receptions, plus 120. What was that? 22?
123, I think it
All right,
was.
plus 123. It's Caesars. That was a play. And what was your DeMario Douglas on?
Over 2.5 receptions, plus 130 at ESPN.
All right. Douglas, over 2.5, plus 130. That's at ESPN. So that's what we got for Thursday night. Blitz has been running hot. We'll be back for more Sunday Night Football and then a double dose of Monday Night Football being broadcasted at the same time because that makes sense for week 3. Oh, geez. All right. People are just trying to make money, but so are we. Let's go. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is NFL Prop Picks powered by the Blitz. See you back here for more primetime week 3 plays, leans, and more football from the Blitz. See you later.